Okay, now we have finished our mixing our three primary hues, and now we're starting into our three secondary hues, right? So combinations of pairs of our primaries. The first one, again, we're going to go back kind of to the start, and we're going to mix up orange, which is that combination of red and yellow. And again, this is a pretty basic mixture. We're going to use 1 part cadmium yellow medium, as you can see written here. And we're going to use 1 and a little bit more part of cadmium red light. So let me just reach for these two, right? So we can do this. Just put down 1 blob, right, of our cadmium yellow medium. And obviously we're taking our cadmium red light because why? Because that's already closer to orange. That's the closest one of our reds to orange to begin with. So that's going to mix nicely with our more orangey yellow, right? The warmer of our 2 yellows. So that is the logic there behind that. Okay. Now I said 1 and 1+ part, right? So that's 1 and a little bit more, right? So I put a slightly bigger blob, maybe like that, a little bit more, right? Like that maybe. And that should be pretty good. So let's just test this out. Put our paint down and get our palette knife and we'll mix and test. So scrape all together, mash, mash and scrape, mash and scrape. That way you are mixing efficiently. Let's test, and then if our testing is good, right, if our mixture is good, then again, you want to mix up a larger quantity of that same proportion of mixture, test it again, make sure it matches, and then containerize, right, in one of your containers, just like you have with your 3 primary hues. And this is looking pretty good, I think. All right. Now, we can actually, the reason we mixed up our 3 primaries first, right, I'm going to spread this on here, is so that we can actually make sure that we're getting good secondary mixtures, because we can set these once they dry, right, between our 2 primary hues that we've already mixed up and easily compare them. So I'm actually going to reach for my my red and my yellow that I painted earlier. I know this still needs to dry, but I'm going to show you what you're going to want to do just to assess. Just be careful not to get the orange too much on this, but you do want to butt them right up against each other, right? And now it's a little bit, it's going to show up a little dark, right, on our video here, okay? But you can see then how we're assessing here the color here, right? When I look at my, I mean, this is somehow this is showing up a little bit. I'm going to try to tweak my lighting situation here a little bit better. Is that better? Nah. Yeah, the red is showing up a little bit dark on camera, but that's okay. Okay, so, right, so when we do this, we are really trying to kind of get that hue midpoint between our pure red hue and our pure yellow. And that's a pretty good midpoint, I would say, right? You can see the red when you look at it against this edge, right, between the orange and the yellow. You see this like flash of red. When you look at the orange and compare it to the red across that edge, you can see sort of a flash of yellow here. And generally speaking, it seems like a pretty good midpoint to me. So that's working pretty well. Okay. All right. So now what we're going to do is just, oh, you can see that. You can just clean those off briefly. real quick. Ugh. Put those away and let the orange dry. Okay, and remember it's going to dry down a little darker and that will be just fine. Okay, all right. All right, I will be back and we will mix up the next of our secondaries. Thanks.